That is very true. What mistake do you see leaders often making when they're trying to motivate teams during turbulent times? Because I'll see that too, where leaders are trying to balance transparency with not creating anxiety, but then now they're trying to rally the troops. And so,
Mm,
what are some of the
yeah.
mistakes that we see leaders making?
There's a rigidity, there's a polarity that happens. So I see 2
Mm,
things, and it's like there's a mercurial reaction that happens, and it's
yeah.
because we're processing, as leaders, our own stuff. So either people get super soft and kind and actually overshare, and while
Yeah.
that in the moment seems to build relationship and
Hmm.
trust, as soon as that crisis or the chaos, settles down a bit, the employees will feel like you're not the leader anymore, or like you're broken, and they'll
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty you back.
That's a good point.
But then they'll go
Yes.
look for a different leader or a different job, or they'll forever have this strange impression of you or a second layer of conversation, like, but will start to happen
Hmm.
when things happen. Do you know what they did the last time? So that's the kind of softness problem. And then there's the hardness problem, the other polarity, where they
Yeah.
clam up, get rigid because they're in their own fear. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, the balance of, and then they stop hearing people and they
That's
seem like a
true.
jerk. And that starts happening, like they
Hmm.
were a jerk last time. Don't
Yeah.
count on them. You can't go to them.
Right.
So, I mean, it's almost impossible to to be, a leader feeling good about yourself and be
Yeah.
always perceived. So one of the things that happens is if people can find a place in the middle, and that might mean just taking a moment to recalibrate or a moment to process things and come back. I'll have more news for you tomorrow, kind of thing. And again, that goes to
Yeah.
the layering and the breadcrumbing.
Yep.
But the thing that's the what I see them do, either going to one side or the other. And it takes a certain amount of leadership maturity
Mm, mhm.
to have the level
Yeah.
of discernment to stand in the storm and not be consumed by the storm and still lead and still take care of yourself. That's a lot to
Yeah.
ask, because it's not like it
That is
happens
a
one
lot to
time in your
ask.
career. 30 years ago, that was like something that happened once every few years. Now it's
That's
like
true.
every 2 or 3 weeks there can be something.
That That is so true. I love that you just brought that up because we talk a lot about supporting teams and the organization, but we don't really talk enough about what leaders themselves actually need. And you kind of touched on this a little bit with finding a group or those confidants that you can have these conversations with. But how are leaders kind of personally coping with the weight of these expectations? What are you seeing out there today?
Yeah. Well, there's non-functional coping.